All right, and we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for the round of 16. Sorry, I was right actually when I said originally that it was round of 16. This is in fact round of 16. Dash Rider versus DNA 88. This is going to be a ZVT on Fighting Spirit.
It is indeed, and actually, I don't know if this is. I think this is reliable information, but apparently, our player, is it DSA or DNA 88? Either way,
yep.
DNA 88. Apparently, he's Lion OD.
Oh.
So we do know who he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And by that I mean like I've heard the ID, but I still don't know really.
Yeah, I think I know him. I think I know him from stream chats, and that's about it. But
yeah, exactly.
We know of his existence already, so that's cool. We now have both these players pinned down. We know who they are, so we can be happy with that. And now I feel a lot more at home. The map, of course, can be Fighting Spirit. What else can make you feel more at home than that? Everybody's got to be completely familiar with this map and the way it works.
Indeed. By the way, another trivia fact. I just saw John VVV type in the chat that Dash Rider played in WCG 2006. So he's like super old school. He was basically playing StarCraft like before I was even born. So that's how old this guy is.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
All right.
That's seriously hardcore. It always amazes me when I think of that there are guys who, the year before I was born, playing this game that I now play. It's weird. It just blows my mind a bit.
All right. So with that, I think we'll go straight into the game. Here we go. Dash Rider versus DNA in the round of 16. Alright, and in the bottom right corner, as the blue Terran, we have SJ.TerrOr. Looks like I've won replay.
What? Oh my god.
That's curious.
This is an emergency. What do we do, Sale?
Should we just cast it? You know what? Let's just do it. Hold on. I don't know what the round this is. I don't know what is happening, but it's a TPP. And you know what? That's fine. I'm just gonna do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, let's pretend like this is entirely deliberate, and then yeah, sweet. Okay, so we are now apparently casting this game, which features the talents of hang on a minute. Sale, you talk for a minute. I don't want to say anything. I don't know what's happening.
Me neither. Wait.
I have no idea what these two players are doing in one game.
Jim Bag should be like Jim BG, right? But why is he actually called Jim Bag?
What is happening? He just... Anyway, Jim died. Just saw him die.
And the thing is, like, I'm being told by one of our referees that what I'm actually casting is Dre versus Terror. Is that actually Dre? Why is he playing Protoss? Apparently this is Andrey, and I've skipped ahead to the next round.
Why would he do that?
This is so confusing. Oh man. Alright, should we just go with it? Let's just roll with it.
Yeah, I suppose so. So, this game is going to be featuring the talents of Dre, who is apparently a race picker. Huh? Who knew? Versus SJ.TerrOr. Okay, so forget everything we were talking about before.
This is awesome.
Yeah, no Dash Rider, no Lion OD. That's not happening at the moment. And we're on Fighting Spirit, and we're seeing standard stuff from both these guys as of yet. Nothing crazy apart from everything that's happened.
All right, so I'm gonna call Jimbag Andrey because I think that's a little bit clearer to who he is. Because if I call him Jimbag, that'd be really confusing. Since we've already watched Jim actually get knocked out of the tournament, so I'm like, how is he still alive? He just comes back from the dead. He changes his ID, and he somehow just re-enters the tournament and goes into the next round. That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy stuff. Yeah, I was so confused because I was like, we just saw him die. How can he resurrect? And it was like some kind of weird error. Like we're living in the Matrix. I don't know. It was weird.
It's
anyway.
It's probably my fault. I probably downloaded the wrong replay.
That's probably what did happen.
Oh, my bad, guys, my bad.
I'm gonna give
but
you
know what? You know what? It's a PvT, and we have so few of these in the tournament that it's fine. Also, guys, don't worry that we're not talking about the game. Everything is completely normal so far.
Yeah, apart from the Zealot, there's a Zealot.
Yeah. All right, Zealot blocking the ramp probably means he's gonna go DT or Reaver super quickly. Or get a second gateway. Why would he do that after a Zealot? That's curious.
Okay, so on top of everything else, Andrey, Dre has now made a Zealot and is following it up with nothing crazy other than a second gate. So that's actually slightly interesting. Presumably, it is just to prevent the SCV scout. I can imagine that's the only thing it's meant to be doing, because it just keeps your opponent in the dark. And there is value to that. There's definitely value to just making sure your opponent doesn't quite know what you're doing. And it looks like SJ.TerrOr not reacting in a particularly crazy way, though, getting ready to in fact, already making a command center right there, while his SCV is chased down by the Dragoon.
Indeed, indeed. And looks like the probe just now going to go over to see the Terran space. Looks like Andrey did in fact scout fairly late, but it doesn't really matter too much in a PvT. He can kind of, I mean, you can generally get what information you need just by having a Dragoon kind of sitting out here at the front and poking around a bit, seeing kind of like what your opponent responds with. Meanwhile, though, this Dragoon's finally going to get the SCV, maybe? Yeah, it doesn't have range yet, or it would have got it already. All right, there we go. It's finally going to take it down after being led on a wild goose chase. This kind of thing, by the way, is can be slightly risky sometimes, depending on the timing. Like, if this was, you know, about a minute later in the game and he chased the SCV there, I'd say that would be a mistake, because then you leave yourself open to, like, a 2-factor something, because one of your Dragoons is out of position.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that's a pretty quick engineering bit. I think having seen that Zealot, TerrOr is also kind of suspecting the same thing that I did, which is that Andrey would go for some kind of fast ET and possibly Reaver harass, either one of which is defended by an engineering bay and turrets.
Yeah, it's a weird build from Andrey. He's gone for the early second gate, but he's followed it up with a quick expansion, so that could easily have just been one gate and it would have worked out much the same. So I'm kind of working through the rationale for making the second early gateway in my head and then cutting units. I guess he just gets those units out a little bit quicker, so he's got the immediate blockage of 4 Dragoons to defend against any early push rather than 3 and an extra one to join.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, third Nexus already planted now. All right,
Hello.
all right. Let me tell you guys what's up. This is a build that I used to do. I used to go 2-gate goon into double expand, and it's terrible. It's like, you're basically like, I hope the Terran doesn't attack me for the next 10 minutes. Because if he doesn't, I'll like win the game, right? But if he decides to do any kind of mid-game 4-fact, 5-fact, 6-fact, whatever factory attack, then you're just in so much trouble, because look at this, the Robo's late, he's got no observers, you know, he's not even making goons off of the 2 gateways that he does have, because, you know, he's got to make the probes as well to make the Nexus worth it. So this kind of thing is a very, very risky maneuver. He's basically just banking on the Terran being slightly more defensive. And in this case, TerrOr is in fact going for the armory. He's still on the single factory, in fact. So I think this might actually work out for Andrey.
Yeah, it really might. And this is kind of a weird risk to take, but I can see why I do it again, because same as we mentioned in yesterday's cast, when you're facing down against a player who's better than you, it can often pay off to just simply take a chance and to go for something a little bit off the wall. Maybe hope luck is slightly on your side, but this could very well work for Dre. I'm quite surprised he's not making kind of pylon wall as natural. We are having a few vultures coming in now, going to have a bit of a poke around, and they may well get in, because of course it's very hard to form a complete and safe wall up at the front there with just Dragoons. Now starting a pylon wall is natural, but no pylon wall at his third means the vulture will be able to run straight in, and he's going to have a very, very hard time clearing this out, and this is why you need observers quite so badly. A, for scouting, and B, because otherwise vultures are just so good at shutting you down.
Exactly. He's sending 2 Dragoons there right now, and it's just kind of lucky for him that there's no mines laid.
Very
so
lucky.
He actually will be able to break up here fairly easily. Vultures in a straight up fight against Dragoons generally don't do very, very well without spider mines. Although it looks like he is using the high ground to his advantage, and there are the mines, and it looks like that one mine. Oh, he's going to do the micro. Very, very nice. That shot missed, so now these goons, taking that on the chin there, although it looks like the other goon didn't really take too much damage.
Yeah.
Did he just kill his own vulture?
He did kill his own vulture. I was about to subtly draw attention to that point, but yeah, fortunately you noticed it as well. TerrOr looking... I would have imagined... See, this is the thing. If I was Dre, I would have imagined that TerrOr would go for a mid-game push. Because also, if you look at the expansion positionings, it's
Yeah.
not particularly easy to take a third base for Terror. And so this is a bit of a weird choice for Andrey, knowing the base positions, just because of the way the map works. I think it's slightly bizarre. And of course, we are seeing more factories go down on now as well, so here's a severe risk.
The probes! Oh, grabs 3 probes for free there. God, these vultures are so annoying. By the way, did you see that that screenshot that somebody put? Oh yes. Okay, now I know what I'm talking about. There recently, Elmaster made a thread in TLS Strategy about like how to play late game PvT. And someone like made actually a really cool little like a screenshot guide where he basically took a screenshot of Fighting Spirit and kind of drew things like, you know, take this as your third, engage the Terran here, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And then Hacklebeast just like takes the screenshot, and in every location that doesn't have something on it, he writes various ways that vultures would like harass the Protoss in that location. Is the funniest thing I've ever seen, especially if you're a Protoss player, because you just like it's all true.
Yeah.
Ah, vultures.
Yeah, it has a definite ring of truth to it. The vultures heading on over there, but being met by a pylon wall. This is another one of those crazy walls that looks like it definitely shouldn't be a wall, but it works, so it keeps the vultures out for a little bit. Andrey is now going to be able to wander around and clear out mines as he sees fit. And I think it was a weird choice for Terra to go for a third base. I have to be honest. I think this was maybe a little bit of a mistake. I'm also wondering if that CC is about to land on that siege tank. Okay, no, it's not. Okay, good. The siege tank's going to move. Because, of course, for anyone who doesn't know, there's a crazy bug whereby... How does that actually work?
Well, I don't think it's a bug, because normally, like, if you try and land a building on it... So, normally you can't land a building where there's a unit. But if you if you do the land command, and then you move a unit underneath, the building will land on top of the unit, and the unit will be forced out of the way. It'll just kind of bug out a little bit, and then scoot out of the way. But the thing is, when you have a tank in siege mode, it can't move, so the game just kills it. So if you land a building, move a tank under it, and siege it, it'll just die, which is awesome.
I know, it's absolutely crazy. The first time I saw that, it freaked me out like mad. But it does actually make sense when you think it through. And you could say they were being very forward-thinking, kind of a little bit of a simulation kind of thing built into Brood War right there, but we all know that'd be bullshit.
You know what really happened though, right? Like, Boxer played some guy and figured out that he could just like land a bunch of barracks all on top of his siege tanks so nothing could actually reach them. And then the giant's like, dude, that's not even fair, man. I mean, I know you're Boxer, but come on, dude. So they fixed it.
Yeah, that's probably what did happen. That'd be awesome if that's how it actually went. Yeah. No, I would love that. I would love that. And that's exactly kind of what Boxing Mines have done, of course. The pioneer of such amazing strategies as Allied Mines, which literally was made illegal. That's when you know you're great. When you make up a strategy which has to be banned after you do it once, that's when you know that you're a revolutionary.
It is indeed. It's kind of like, you know, when you get accused of being a hacker on the ladder, even though you're not hacking, you're like, yeah, it's just because I'm that good.
How good is my macro right now? Yeah, it's brilliant. We do have the double armies coming in from Terra, so we're going to be seeing some serious late game strength right here from his tanks and vultures. He's still just running around with the vultures, not showing any sign of any movement anytime soon. He's still very, very slim on the tank count, but now he's got a big factory explosion coming in, so his unit count's really going to pile up pretty quick. And however, my god, this is so confusing. Not Jimbag, Dre is actually staying quite significantly ahead in terms of supply. So this is kind of backing up your point you made earlier, whereby if the Terran doesn't react correctly, you're in a great position. If he does, you're probably boned. But it looks like Dre's actually got away with it.
Exactly. He took an economic risk in the beginning of the game. Economic risk, does that make sense? Anyway, and yeah, it paid off. Looks like he's poking in a bit here, but really there's not much he can do. Terra's essentially turtle up on 3 bases. He's saying, you know what, I'm just gonna have my 3 base, I'm gonna get my upgrades, I'm gonna get my infrastructure going, and there's really nothing that too much like Protoss can do. I mean, you can try occasional recalls and stuff, but because the Terran army is already there, it generally isn't going to be too effective. So the best thing to do is exactly what Andrey's doing, which is just take more bases. He's about to get his 5th base here at the top left main, so just, you know, take a bunch of bases, make a bunch of gateways, and just wait for the Terran to move out, and then hopefully by the time he actually decides to move out, you'll be you know, in such a good position economically and macro-wise that it doesn't really matter how strong his army is. You can just rebuild way faster.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting on Fighting Spirit playing that kind of game, because whilst it's not that close spawn distances, it's not that far either, and you do have some decent opportunities to kind of get a nice surround on the Terran army, but if you miss just 1 or 2 opportunities, especially on this map, map, then you can find that the Terran gets to your base really, really quickly, and can find a great position outside your bridges where you can kind of split your reinforcements and your main army, and it can get really difficult. So it's a little bit of an odd start to be playing on Fighting Spirit, and it can be a little bit volatile, I find, and a little bit subject to observer scouting, which becomes very, very important when you have to take every opportunity. So Dre's observer network needs to be right on the money.
Indeed. Meanwhile, we saw a bit of a vulture harass here at Andrey's third, but nothing too much. And, you know, to your point, Andrey does have one observer kind of in between their bases. It's slightly on his side a little bit. I think he had one outside the Terran's base, but it might have gotten killed or something. It's not here anymore, so I'm not too sure what that's about. But he does have a couple of obs positioned around, and notice he's kind of keeping his army spread out a little bit here, just ready to pounce on the Terran when he does decide to move out. Meanwhile, the 5th base here at the top left is about to go up. There is one drop through kind of waiting with 2 siege tanks. He might wait for a vulture harass to go out and provide like a distraction before he actually drops that somewhere and tries to do some more damage that way. Meanwhile, the Protoss is about max now, so this is when I'd expect to see a lot of gateways start to be thrown down here. He's also just started his Arbiter production as well. He's actually moving into the natural though. Gonna try and just crush the Terran army right here. I'm not sure if that's the best position, but he is gonna start dropping all these zealots. These mines could be huge. Oh man! It looks like Terra moved out way too soon. Just gets completely crushed here. Oh
my
no!
God. Terra being absolutely obliterated right now. Those are some great bombs from Dre, and he's absolutely steamrolling through Terra at this point. He might actually win it right here. He's got so many Dragoons still left. The Vulture's going to start laying down mines. Is there an observer in there? I don't know if he is. Another nice mine drag. Going to be able to take out a tank very, very easily. I think the reinforcements from Terra might just be enough to hold on, but there's still plenty of goons in the natural, and Terra's misjudged this game so badly right here. He needed to wait until he had a much better position before moving out, and as I already mentioned, he's just been crushed by Andrey. And now at the top left-hand corner as well, however, there is a significant probe attack which runs the risk of being sieged down, and the siege tanks might be able to leave a Terra back into the game, but his natural is in all kinds of trouble. He's had to pull every single one of his FTVs off his natural mineral line, and he's defending right to the hill here, whilst desperately trying to do some decent harass up at the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, it looks like 14 kills between these 2 siege tanks right now. Sorry, I was just like so caught up in the action, I didn't even realize you stopped talking. It's like, wow. Lots of stuff going on all over the map here. Terra's still trying to hold us natural, but of course Terran's the master of defense. Very, very difficult for Protoss to actually end the game, but it looks like Andrey's decided to change direction here and go for the 6 o'clock, which is defended just by a single siege tank. So that looks like it's definitely going to go down here. I'm not sure if Terra will be able to react in time to actually save that base, and it looks like the 2 tanks that were dropped to the top left have gotten cleaned up by those zealots. They did get a good number of pro kills, but I'm not sure if that's enough here. It looks like Terra dropped down to about 100 supply. Andrey, aka Jimbag, still up at about 150, and the first Arbiter does actually come in. It doesn't have any energy for spells, but it will be able to cloak the units, but a scan takes care of that fairly easily. And actually, it looks like, even though I thought that this base might actually go down to the Protoss army, Terra is able to clean it up. But the problem is, you know, has the damage been done here? He's lost a lot of SCVs there. He lost the bulk of his forces there. The Terran army, particularly, is very, very hard to rebuild. So I think that attack, in the end, was definitely worth it for the Protoss.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Although, interestingly, Dre has actually not got any bank, and he's only on 163 supply, whilst he is facing against an opponent who is, significantly behind on supply, but not that much more behind than he was before.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, whether that attack really paid off or not, I suppose time will tell, but it's not quite as devastating as it might have looked, although it has given Dre time to get the top left-hand corner established. Yeah,
I wonder if his economy, I mean, you know, wasn't that as strong as I thought it might have been when he actually launched the attack, and then of course he did lose a good number of probes to that tank drop. So overall, it just combines to mean that as you said, he doesn't actually have any money to spare here. I mean, you know, he does have a decent income still. He's still mining on his 5 bases. His main and his natural are still mining, although he's only got a few probes here on the main. But the thing is, you know, Terra, wow, he's actually got 9 factories right now. And the thing is, you know, if you don't kill a Terran outright, they can definitely kind of just turtle up, just play defensively, and try and slowly but surely worm their way back into the game. You know, Terran's obviously a very, very good defensive race. But looks like 3 Arbiters coming in here to the 9 o'clock base. They're just like attacking stuff. They should be recalling or something here. I don't know what's going on. He's gonna stasis the tank and the 2 tanks in the dropship here. Bit of a random Arbiter attack. What the hell?
Yeah, that's bizarre.
He's gonna kill the SCV.
That is awesome. Those weird marauding arbiters.
By the way, arbiters only do 10 damage a shot. They do like less damage than vultures, basically.
They're desperately bad, and we can see they're only actually doing 9 damage to this command center. So Although he might actually get it. It's a slow job, but I think
no
he might
anti-air.
Oh, there's a Goliath. Okay, don't worry. The command center has saved the Goliath zone. Although I think
he's gonna get it.
The command center is actually
he's
gonna go
kill
down.
it. No! Why is he running? Kill it! No, kill it!
That was a very, very weird move, and it kind of worked. I don't know. I think that was a big waste. And meanwhile, he lost a bunch of goons to Siege Tank Fire unnecessarily as well. So I don't know what the arbiters were doing, but I can't help but feel they would have been better spent somewhere else. Meanwhile, we do have a bunch of vultures going into the 12 o'clock where they're going to spot out that base. They're being chased by a DT, however, which are going to be able to swipe away at a couple. And since the Nexus is already down, it's going to be hard for those vultures to prevent that, I think.
Looks like random Goliath here is actually about to engage the entire Protoss army by himself, which isn't going to turn out too well for him. Meanwhile, those vultures is chilling now outside that 12 o'clock base. More importantly, the Protoss army is moving in once again. He's got 3 arbiters this time, so the attack is going to be even more powerful. A big stasis on 3 of the tanks. He's got a shuttle coming in with 4 High Templar. Is he going to drop them? Where are the storms? Looks like the shuttle might go down. No, it doesn't quite go down here, but looks like he doesn't even need the High Templars. The army, it's the ground army of Zealots and Dragoons, is too much for Terra, and once again, it's looking like the Protoss is going to crush the Terrans' attempt to move out and establish a 4th base here. This is why you often see on Fighting Spirit on this map, Terrans go for that turtly 3-base style, but then just do a huge 3-base push, like a 2-1 timing, and just try and do massive damage to the Protoss, and basically defend their 4th base by forcing the Protoss to engage the army rather than actually attack the base. But in this case, Andrey's army just seems to be too good here, and looks like there are the High Templars. Storms on everything, not too many clumps. Whoa, bit of a double storm there. The storm damage doesn't stack, but whatever the case, it is just enough to clear up those siege tanks, although probably not enough to actually take down the natural. And looks like the units in the back came out of stasis, so actually, looks like Terra once again is going to barely hold.
Yeah, but his army was tiny again, and it's even tinier now. Now down to 106 supply, but against 161. So Dre is kind of steadily drawing further and further ahead. The SCV count isn't as bad as I expected to be from Terra, but SCVs, of course, aren't everything you need. You need stuff to defend your other stuff, otherwise you end up with no stuff left. So he needs to be pumping army right now, otherwise he's going to get rolled once again.
That was very eloquently put. You need stuff to defend your other stuff, or else you won't have any stuff left. I like that. Guys, that should actually be the standard like advice we give to players who ask in the strategy forums, like, you know, oh, how do I play PvZ, or, you know, how do I defend against recalls? Just make stuff to defend your other stuff, dude. I mean, is that not obvious? God.
Well, you think it was, but yeah, even someone as accomplished as Terra seems to be missing out a little bit. Oh, and taking some nasty moments there on the way up. Dre losing a decent chunk of his army on the way, and I think Terra might actually be able to hold on to this 4th base right here. So Dre, not being as cost efficient as he might be, and EMPing out both those arbiters as well. I don't think this is a good idea from Dre. He's dashing into an engagement here unnecessarily. I think he should definitely pull out. He's lost his opportunity to take down that 4th base. I think he scouted that very late. And I'm not quite sure why he didn't imagine it was there earlier, and instead he was chucking units at Terra's front door when he should have been just making sure there were no extra bases, because honestly, keeping Terra on 3 bases would have been fine. He would have done well to just do that.
I agree. I think he might be getting slightly frustrated here because he's made 2 attacks into the natural that kind of almost worked, didn't quite finish off the Terran, so he's just like, come on, just die already. I mean, I know that feeling. Oftentimes you're just kind of suckered into making bad attacks in PvP just because you're just so annoyed by the Terran's resiliency. Meanwhile, Terra also is not exactly helping by running around with Vultures being super annoying everywhere. Look at this, killing random probes. I don't even know what these probes are doing here. They're running around randomly in the map, but they're going to get killed off. And Terra, I mean, he's kind of slowly but surely pulling his way back. He's now established his 4th base. He's at 154 supply against the max Protoss, but that's not too bad here. Terran's generally a little bit behind in the supply until you get to the super late game anyway. So yeah, I'm liking Terra's position more and more, especially he's now 3-2 in upgrades against a 2-2 Protoss, so pretty good upgrades for both. But, you know, once the Terra gets to 3-3, I mean, those siege tanks, man, when they get full upgrades, I mean, look at this, he's got plus 15 damage from that 3 attack. Oh, recall at the 9 o'clock. Go ahead, Elegant.
I don't know if he'll be able to get the command center. It doesn't look hopeful. I think this might be a little bit of a dud recall. He's going to lose a lot of his Dragoons without taking out... Okay, he has taken out a lot of SCVs with that because, of course, the tank splash damage affect friend and foe alike. And it looks like he's going to have to do a bit of a double defense here, but I think Terra's going to be equal to this. Dre dashing in for another slightly rash attack right now. He has only Dragoons remaining. He should pull back, or maybe he's just about going to be able to do this. Terra needs to bring up some reinforcements and take down these Dragoons, dematrixing his tanks now as well. He does have science vessels to see those cloaked Dragoons, and it looks like he will just about be able to hold on 2 fronts right here. He does have reinforcements coming up from the back, which will be able to finally deal with this attack. And Dre is repelled, and there are now a lot of mines laid down in between Terror's bases and Dre's bases. So I'm wondering if we'll see any zealots start crashing into that, because that could be a pretty severe loss to Dre's next wave of army.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of times once you get to the late game, the Protoss is busy macroing from all his gateways, but he often doesn't add on too many more observers because you don't want to end up with overmaking observers anyway. So when he sends out the reinforcements, it's very easy for him to just kind of run headlong into spider mines and lose a lot of free units like that. So a very nice move here by Terror to just mine up the middle of the map here. As you can see on the minimap, it's just covered in all these little blue dots.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's a recall going into the 6 o'clock, and actually it looks like there were a bunch of mines here before. I guess they got cleared out by a previous recall that I didn't catch, but. He's gonna do it on more mines?
Oh
no! Or something, or not, maybe, I don't know. He's just
he's
kidding.
Not doing it at all.
What?
What?
Dude, he was totally microing that too, because the Arbiter was moving around. What the heck?
Yeah, and he had the 175 energy. You of course only need 150 energy, so I'm not quite sure how to completely explain that. It looks like the 12 o'clock base is going to be screwed for Dre. I'm not sure why he still doesn't have any bank and still isn't maxed out. I really can't explain this. He must be just way short in terms of his probe count, and I think that's exactly what's happened. He's just underproduced probes on quite an epic scale. At no point does he have the economy to really drive his game along.
And now he's running through the mines. He's running through the mines.
Oh no!
That could have been worse.
Yeah, but he still takes a fair number of mine hits, so not ideal for him, obviously. And there's no way he's going to be able to get through this. With like 3 siege tanks or so and a whole bunch of mines to hold up things, I'd be very surprised if he didn't at least waste a huge number of units getting through here, which is going to be completely disproportional to the result. And he's lost his 12 o'clock now as well, so could Terror be right back in this game? I think possibly yes. Oh my god, Dre, do not do this. This is not a good engagement. You don't want to be going in here.
He needs a storm. He needs more. He needs a couple more. He might barely break it. It's down to the High Templars, though. He's not getting the best storms off him without any more zealots. It looks like he has to back up here. Oh man, Dre, what happened? I mean, Terra's actually down to 113 supply. He does not have a lot of supply, but he's taken out Dre's 6th base, so he's back down to the 5 bases against the Terran's 4, and his main and natural are mined out actually, although so are Terror's. But this is actually getting very, very close here. Terror, who looked like he's in a terrible position after getting his first move out annihilated, is looking very, very strong in this game. I don't know what's happened here, but Dre is just not really handling the late game very well here. He's just running into more mines in the middle of the map. Yeah, this is not looking good.
I mean, Terror was in a horrible position. There's no two ways about it. His position was really, really bad. But somehow pulling. Oh my God! About to run into so many mines. We're losing zealots. We're losing High Templar left, right, and center right here. And pretty major losses right there for Dre in an attempt to take out 2 siege tanks. Not sure that was worth it. And he's about to take a whole lot more mine hits. Oh, this is horrible. Losing High Templar, losing Dragoons, losing zealots. He's going to have no army left, and taking an EMP to his arbiter. This is really, really starting to lose his grip on the way this game is going. Terror not out of danger yet, but nonetheless, Dre is looking a bit rough around the edges.
Oh man, the Dragoons just exploding in showers of blue goo, and Dre's army is just only High Templar now. What on earth? I think he just has too much gas. That's actually a common problem in super late game PBT, is because your primary units are Zealots and Dragoons, you actually, even though Arbiters are quite gas heavy, you don't actually have that many of them. So you often end up with a lot of gas banked and not enough minerals. So as you can see, Andrey has only 300 minerals, but 1,500 gas. So he's just making High Templars, because that's the only thing he can really afford. I mean, I wouldn't even mind making a couple of Archons here, although obviously Archon's not so good against the EMP of the Science Vessels. Doing some good storms here on the siege tanks. Wow, very good storms actually, killing a lot of units, but he's got nothing to back it up. No actual units to finish things off. Just storming everything into oblivion here. Oh my goodness. Actually kills basically every attacking unit there with just High Templar.
It's a stupid army composition, but it just worked just then. Of course, only because he wasn't vastly outnumbered, which definitely helps in any situation. But he does still lose the remnants of his army. However, still way ahead in terms of supply. I think Terra's maybe overstretching himself a little bit by going up to the top right-hand corner quite so early. And I think he runs the risk of getting quite badly hit again by Dre. And Dre, I think, knows this, but he has to be a lot more careful with the way he's playing around these mines here. I'm not quite sure how good his control grouping is in terms of Dragoons, Observer, and then Zealots and everything else in a different control group. And it looks like he's about to run more Dragoons into more mines. He does have Observer kicking around, but it doesn't look like it's doing its job that well.
Oh, we might have another big engagement here. Terra's caught unsieged. He's got a minefield in position, but that's a huge Protoss army here. 190 supply against just 135 here. How good is the position? It looks like too many Zealots. I think Terror might go down here again. There's just so many Zealots storming in. Not enough Vultures in the front. There's a High Templar. It's going to get a storm off on the Vultures, and I think Andrey is going to clean this up and deny that top right natural base here. Terra's just going to have to lift that off and float it behind the cliff here to keep it alive. I think that is unreachable by Dragoon, so if you just kind of hide it here and over the water, it should be okay, although it looks like it might not even get there, and it's just going to burn down anyway if it does get there. So nice move there by Andrey. It looks like a random Goliath attacking a random Arbiter here at the 12 o'clock, not sure what that's about. But meanwhile though, TerrOr, he desperately needs another base because, you know, his fourth base here, the 3 o'clock, is down to half minerals. Every other base is essentially mined out, so he's basically down to 1 base now, and he keeps losing his army. He's down to under 100 supply again, whereas Andrey is staying almost max right now. So even though TerrOr was making a good comeback there, it's looking a bit grim for him now again.
It really is. I think though that he's just overextended himself way too many times in this game. And he's just found himself in a lot of unfavorable engagements where his army's been stretched.
Oh, Stasis, SCVs, and a recall! Wow. Sorry for interrupting there, Elegant, but that is awesome. All these poor SCVs stuck in blocks of ice. There's no units here to actually save this. Even though the recall wasn't the biggest recall, there are only a handful of units. It looks like it might be enough, although there is still 1 siege tank in a good position at the back. He actually needs to scan this one more time. Actually, wait, does he have a turret or something? Okay, no, there's another scan, so he does have detection. And actually, wait a minute. Is he going to hold us? He might actually hold us here. Of course, his mining has been disrupted quite a bit by that nice stasis, but he will actually keep that base alive.
He will just about. I mean, you think you know it all when you're an SCV. You think you're like, okay, I might get stormed. I might get blown up by a Reaver. I might get guerrilla attacked by 4 zealots. But I know what can't happen. I cannot get stasis. And then when you think you've really got this life thing sorted, boom, out comes a stasis and kind of takes you by surprise whilst you're mining one day. And so it just goes to show that if you're an SCV, you can never quite be sure what's happening. Oh, Dre, about to run into a whole bunch more mines. He's going to sack a bunch of fuse if he's not careful. Getting quite lucky against his mines there, but he does have a couple of observers floating around too. I think TerrOr, oh my god, 80 supply. TerrOr, can you possibly hold on? Oh, more nice mines, evaporating units in the middle. I think there's been a lot of good to be said about TerrOr's game, but there's also a lot which he's missed, and just his engagements have not been favorable at any point. He's kind of setting up an established position right here, but with 2 siege tanks, 3 siege tanks, 4 siege tanks, okay, that's just about acceptable. More mines. Dre is getting so lucky against his mines, seriously. But I think TerrOr's position is not going to be strong enough, or maybe it is. There are not enough zealots to really deal the damage here, but 74 supply versus 160, you gotta say it looks bleak.
High Templar train in the middle. Here we go. That is just awesome. I love this. Come on, High Templar. They're like, you know, all those kindergartners, like, you know, held on a string by their teacher or something. You know, you see that when like the kindergartners is walking down the street. Anyway, GG from TerrOr. But that is exactly what those High Templars reminded me of there. It's like little children walking down the street with their teacher. So cute, so cute.
Yeah, very cute indeed. Cute High Templar. Unless they're storming you out, in which case your opinion might change quite quickly. Indeed. So yeah, TerrOr GG's out after a slightly calamitous game. I think both players were a little bit all over the shop there somehow. I felt like TerrOr was a bit rash in his engagements. His first push out onto the map, it was just ill thought through. And Dre was just quite careless at times against mines as well. He kind of got away with it, but I think that was more due to his early position rather than anything else.
Yeah. Definitely agree with you there. And, well, our next game is going to be the game that we were supposed to watch that time. I did, in fact, download the wrong replay, so my bad, guys. That's my bad. So now we're going back to Dash Rider versus DNA 88.
Yeah, and, also known as Lion OD, I think.
Yep. So, yeah, we'll be right back after these quick commercials. See you in a bit. And